Welcome back to my channel and Frizzyland. Yes, my hair is full of frizz today. Deal with it. So today I'm going to be reacting to a video that was released by Dr. Phil. It is all about gender ideology and the erasure of women. And I wasn't able to watch this video when it had premiered. I did hear about it and I had intentions of actually watching it and reacting to it a couple of weeks ago. But you know how life is. You get busy, you just forget. And you're like, oh shoot, I forgot about that. Let me go watch it. So I did get a chance to watch the full episode, and I want to go over some key parts of the episode that I found to be really entertaining. And I figured we could talk about it together, discuss it together, and figure out the craziness together. So without further ado, let's get into the Dr. Phil video.
Are we erasing cisgender women, or as you were just saying, just woman? People whose gender identity matches the sex they were assigned at birth.
The way that you defined it is the way that it is ordinarily defined in society today by some, but it also assumes that there is such a thing called gender identity that we all have. That's an assumption, right? And it may turn out to be true. I don't think that it will, but it might. But it's important to at least acknowledge that we're making an assumption that gender identity is something we all have. I would say that I don't have one. I would just go back to saying I'm a woman because I'm an adult human female.
Where's the lie? Where is it? What she said is 1000% correct. Being born as you are is not an identity, it's just what you are. I was born with 2 arms. I don't identify as somebody born with 2 arms. I just am a person born with 2 arms and hands and fingers. So there's no identity associated with that. It's just what you are, and you just live as what you are. But something tells me the gender ideology cult is not going to like what she just said. Let's keep watching.
I'm also a woman who cannot have babies. And I think it's very important to acknowledge that a woman who cannot have babies is a woman in a manner that it is not true that a male person could ever be a woman.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
So your gender identity, though, you just described yourself as a woman who can't have babies. That is a gender identity, just as my trans and non-binary identity is a gender identity. Just because it goes against the norms doesn't mean that your identity isn't any less of an identity than mine.
So I would just say that that is not an identity, it is a biological reality.
Unfortunately for some women, this happens. It doesn't mean that they identify as somebody who can't give birth or who can't carry children. They just are a woman, biologically, who cannot give birth or carry children. That is an anomaly. It is not normal, but it happens. The other person is saying, well, that's your identity. See, you identify as somebody who can't give birth. No, she can't give birth because biology will not allow her to give birth because of her condition. See how that works? It has nothing to do with what's going on up here. It has everything to do with what is going on with science and biology. She cannot change that. Now, if she identifies as a woman who can give birth, guess what? She still can't give birth because biology-wise won't allow her to. They love to use the term identity, right? I identify. That allows them to have the power. That allows them to decide on a Tuesday that they feel like a female. But then on Friday, they feel non-binary. This is why people get so confused with those individuals whose identity tends to change every single month. Oh, I'm non-binary. Now I go by she, they. Oh, no, I go by he, him. And it's like you can't keep up.
Happy Pride, everybody. I already mentioned this in my story, but I've added a new set of pronouns to the pronouns that I'm comfortable being called. I've been sitting on Fair's pronouns for a while, and honestly kind of psyching myself out about it. I'm like, oh, do I really want to change this again? And then I realized, I was like, who cares? If I decide that I don't like them, I can just stop using them. My other thing about this new set of pronouns is that I would only like for queer and trans people to use them for me. Cis-het people, they, them. Queer and or trans people, you can use they, them, or fair. It's all good with me. I'm excited because fair pronouns make me feel very affirmed in my not feeling like a person.
You cannot keep up with these people because they believe in their head that their self-identity is all that matters and that science and biology don't really matter. And unfortunately for them, it does. So telling a biological woman who can't give birth that is her identity, that's how she identifies, is like me saying I identify as somebody with curly hair. No, I just have curly hair. If I identified as somebody with straight hair, I would be delusional.
That is what you say.
That's what you say.
No, it's
you
just
say.
what's true.
That's what you say. And it's fine. It's fine.
just
I
what's
take it
true.
because I can't have babies either.
Yeah, you can't have babies either because you are a man, a biological man with XY chromosomes. That's why you can't have any babies. She can't because she has a condition that won't allow her to have babies or carry children. But it does not take away from the fact that she is still a biological woman. You are not.
But that's what you say. And what you say is not law.
Okay, what you say is not law. Where in the entire conversation did she ever say that what I'm saying is law? It's not law. It's called science. So maybe it is law, the law of science, but it's not law as far as legal terms, right? We're talking about biology. We're talking about common sense. So this trans person screaming and saying, but what you saying in law? Okay, yeah, you're right. That is what I say. What I say reflects reality. What you say reflects delusion. See how that works?
Can I just make the point that
You can make a point, girl.
even non-functioning female anatomy is still female anatomy. So the fact that you can't have a child or you can't get pregnant, that doesn't diminish the fact that you are a woman
But
because you still have the anatomy to do so.
Those are two different things, though. Being a female anatomy, having female anatomy, and being a woman are two different things.
But they're not though, because
They are.
this
Well, I
brings
could go get the anatomy.
And you'd still be a man. If you're someone like me who is always online surfing the web, downloading videos, using streaming services, then this offer is up your alley. Listen closely. You need protection. And I got just a thing for you. I've been using ExpressVPN for the last 3 years to protect my IP address when I'm online. It allows me to surf the web safely without fear of hackers or anyone getting into my system. It's very simple. You just pick a location anywhere in the world, click connect, and you're now secure. Your IP address is hidden and protected. One of my favorite perks is being able to stream TV shows from other countries like Australia, or to watch Netflix from other countries' locations that has shows that are not available here in the States. And ExpressVPN was kind enough to give my subscribers a special deal. If you sign up today, you get the first 3 months for free. The link is in my description, expressvpn.com/CurlyBoyChuck. Follow the link, it's going to be in my description, and get you 3 months for free using my link and my code. I got you.
So the fact that you can't have a child or you can't get pregnant, that doesn't diminish the fact that you are a woman.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What she said is so on the money and is what I just said earlier. Just because a woman who is biological cannot give birth or carry children for whatever reason doesn't take away from the fact that she is still a biological woman. If she dies tomorrow and they dig up her body 1,000 years from now and they do a test based on her bone analysis, you know what they're gonna find? That she is a biological woman. We're talking about biological factors. And the fact that the trans and non-binary person had the nerve to say that your biological factors don't play a role in your sex is, again, backwards and delusional, because it is. They correlate to each other. And just because you say the opposite doesn't make it so. This next portion is so important because it explains why the changing of words and the changing of one's actual biology, especially for women, can be a serious issue. Take a look at this and then let's discuss.
Why does it matter so much to have this differentiation? Why is it so important to hold on to this definition of biological
I could offer
feminine?
something.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm asking you.
So
why does it matter?
Dr. Phil in earlier was talking about how the women's movement has achieved certain objectives. Women have had to fight for our rights for thousands of years all over the world and for hundreds of years in this country because we have been discriminated against and excluded from public civil society, from the educational arena, from the legal arena, from numerous arenas on the basis of sex. And many of us who support those movements are not about to turn around and pretend that sex is not a meaningful legal and physical category.
Boom, boom, boom. She just like laid it out perfectly for the delusional gender ideology cult. You cannot take sex out of the equation when it comes to the women's rights movement and struggles because, like she said, perfectly so, women for centuries upon centuries have been discriminated against based on their sex and solely on their sex. The fact that they are female, the fact that they have a different biology than men, the fact that their anatomy is different than men, that was a factor that determined why they were treated differently than men and why they were not treated as equals to men. So to now say sex, we don't know her. Sex doesn't matter. Anatomy doesn't matter. Biology doesn't matter. It does matter because for centuries upon centuries, it's mattered to women who have had to fight for their freedoms, for equality, fighting against oppression, fighting just to live. And there are so many women in the world today outside of the USA who are being treated so poorly solely on the fact that they were born women, that their sex is female. So are you gonna tell those women that their struggle is all in their head, is not based on their sex? Is that what you're gonna say? Because that would be a lie. This is why it's so important to make sure that we are speaking in correct terms and to make sure that we are not just meshing up pronouns and creating new words that take away the individuality of what it means to be a woman and what it means to be a man. Those factors, those words, those definitions matter. They've always mattered. It's only been since last Thursday that suddenly they don't matter.
Why not have another group of women join your fight and it be more force in numbers
No kidding,
than for
dude.
you
Yeah,
to
we need
exclude
allies.
us based on what you're talking about?
All women are welcome to join the movement.
Do you mean trans women are welcome to join the movement?
I don't mean men, I mean women.
So you
Oof.
think trans women are men?
It's not a matter of opinion. We're talking about the material reality of biological sex, which is grounded in science and reality.
But sex and gender are different.
Women are female and men are male.
Is it
And it's okay to say that.
Yeah.
It's okay to say that. It really is.
It's okay for you to say it.
Okay for
It's
you to
okay for
believe.
anyone to say it.
But she's a woman though. No, she's not. And of course, it has to be a liberal girl in the back that's screaming, but she's a woman. Again, welcome to 2023. And I love what she said at the end. There are biological differences between men and women, and it's okay to say that. It doesn't make you a bad person.
I do just want to say quickly, you in your introduction, you said, and Susie mentioned, cisgender. So I do not call myself a cisgender woman. I am a woman because I'm an adult human female. And I think that that is a very important part of this conversation. I think it's really important that we be very clear and accurate in the language that we use. So that's why I think this is such an important conversation.
You know, this lady is just spitting straight facts non-stop, and I am loving it. I'm loving it because we don't hear this enough, unfortunately, in mainstream media and mainstream society. It's just, you can't say this. You can't say this, otherwise you get attacked, you get canceled, you get called a bigot, and all she's doing is she is laying out the science, the biology, the facts. Do not call me cis. I am just an adult human male. That's it. I don't need a sub-identity umbrella term to make somebody else feel better. I don't need that. You need that, and that's on you. I don't. And here's the thing. You are free as an adult human to refer to yourself however you want to refer to yourself. If you see yourself as Tinkerbell, as a Tooth Fairy, as Peter Pan, as Santa Claus, that is your prerogative. Knock yourself out. Enjoy. But what you can't do is you cannot control my speech. You cannot control my mind. You cannot control the words that I use, the grammar that I use, and the pronouns that I use. You can't control that. And unfortunately, with this new wave of gender ideology and what I call the cult, they are trying to control our language.
The articles written about me using he pronouns and calling me a man over and over again. And I feel like that should be illegal.
They're trying to control media. They're trying to control the narrative. It's everywhere. It is shoved down our throats. And the interesting thing is, as we know, the trans community only makes up less than 2% of the population. But the representation is about 90%. Does that make any sense? Like, what is really going on here? That's the question.
We fought for the right to vote, practice law, equal pay. Some now feel sidelined due to what they're referring to as the erasure of women. It's like we fought so hard to get all of these rights and are still on a journey, and now that's being eroded, that's being taken away. Is that a fair concern?
It is a concern, and there is a case that can be made for it. I don't necessarily agree with that in the sense that an underlying assumption of this entire argument is that sex, maleness, femaleness, male, female, whatever, is the most fundamental difference that makes a difference, and that's simply not true.
Pause. And this would be the problem, which is why I would never see eye to eye with people like the woman who just spoke, because she is ignoring biology and she is ignoring science and she is ignoring facts. She's saying that how you are born biologically doesn't really factor in to who you are as far as male or female. I fundamentally disagree with that. Let's look at the animal kingdom, shall we? I love watching animal documentaries. Lions are my favorite. And one thing that I always notice about the lions is that no matter what pride I'm watching, and there are so many different lion prides all throughout Africa who have never met, who have never interacted, yet they all seem to act very similar when it comes to the differences of the male lions versus the female lions. The behavior is almost identical. Mind you, these animals never met. So what makes their behavior so similar to one another in the different pride camps? Biology. The fact that a female lion has certain biological factors that is going to determine how she behaves, what she does, how she treats her cubs, her role in that society, that all plays a role in her biology. And the fact that she is a female lion, if she decided to be a male lion and she identified as a male lion, guess what? She wouldn't last. You know why? Because biology and those factors matter. It matters in the animal kingdom. In every single species of animals, it matters, except for humans. For some crazy odd reason, we've decided that biology doesn't really matter. It's not really important. It's how you see yourself. That's all that matters. And that's the problem. And people like this lady want us to co-sign the delusion. They want us to abandon what we know as truth and science for the sake of feelings. And that is the major difference between lefty wokies and everybody else. Lefty wokies are all about feelings. How what you said made me feel.
It's important that women be able to say that women are adult human females without being told that that's hurtful.
And that is the only thing that matters. And if what you said hurt my feelings, then you can't say that anymore. Doesn't matter if what you said is factual. It doesn't matter if what you said is based on reality. If it made me feel uncomfortable, that's all that matters. That means language has to change. Social roles have to change. What we know as reality, that has to change just to accommodate someone's feelings. And in my opinion, and according to the DSM-5, someone's mental illness.
There is no such thing as a monolithic category of woman. So when it's like the erasure of women, well, which women? There's so much diversity within that category. And the reality is that most research shows, social scientific research shows, that men and women, just broadly speaking, have more in common than they have differences. The differences emerge along race, class, sexuality, ability, and those sorts of things.
I want to point out there's something inherently contradictory in what Dr. Susie just said, which is that she started out by saying there's no such thing as a monolithic category called women. That is, of course, not true. There is. But then she followed up by saying there are men and there are women, which is true.
Exactly. Exactly. If there's no monolith, if there's no binary, then why are people from one side, males or females, trying to switch over to the other side? If there's no binary, why not just be you and not go through any surgeries, not wear any dresses, not put on lipstick, not try to grow a beard? Why try to look like the other side of a binary that you say does not exist? How about just be your authentic self and just live? But see, you are buying into the binary by telling us that we must accept your womanhood or your manhood because you say so, even though you are not biologically so. So you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth, although they do it all the time. You can't say on one hand, there is no monolith, there is no such thing as woman or man, there's no binary. But then at the same time, we should allow children to transition before puberty to the other sex that you say doesn't exist. Make it make sense. Oh, you guys, I don't know. I mean, I watch these videos and every time I watch them, doesn't matter what it is that I'm watching, when it's about this topic, it seems to be the same conclusion every single time, which is I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. And I'm like the only sane person left. And everybody else is just like, crazy town, woo! No. Like, there are biological factors. I'm sorry, there are. And why are we pretending like science all of a sudden doesn't matter? Like, there are certain diseases that are attributed to being a woman and to being a man. There are certain things that women go through that men will not understand. There are certain issues, health-wise, that men are more susceptible to than women are. So to say that biological factors just don't matter is just crazy town to me. It's crazy town to me, but it's where we are. But I am not going to stop talking about this topic, and I don't care who I upset. I don't care who I bother. I don't care, because at the end of the day, we cannot abandon reality and common sense for the sake of somebody's feelings. I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry. If you enjoy my content, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit my notification bell so you know when I post a new video. And if you guys have any video ideas for me or any videos that you want me to react to, please feel free to DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is CurlyBoyChuck, or TikTok, CurlyBoyChuck, where I'm active as well. And send me a link. Let me know what the video is about and why you want me to react to it. And I will take a look. And if it is up my alley, I may just do it. So let me know and let's stay connected.